hope y'all having an amazing weekend so far. Happy Saturday. I know I should have gone live hours ago, but I had a lot on my plate. I was running around like a chicken with his head cut off because I needed to get a lot of things done throughout the weekend. So I chose the Saturday to be my off Saturday, my off weekend, and I'd rather work Sunday tomorrow because it's a friend's daughter's birthday party. So he has sent me the invitation since last Sunday because you know that for the most part I work overtime on weekends. So what I did, I chose Sunday so I can be off Saturday to allow me to go participate in his daughter's first anniversary or whatever, her first birthday. So that's the reason for being here today. So some of you are already used to seeing me drive to work and going live on Saturdays and some other weekdays, but today it's a little different. All right, it's about 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out here in Pennsylvania, right? And I am on my way to my friend's daughter's birthday, so it's gonna be over at his crib, right? So I'm on my way there, trying to spend some social time with friends and family and stuff or whatnot. But at the same time, I'll be thinking about what to talk about, right? And I've had a chance to speak with a lot of other Africans within my community, right, about the same issues that I always talk about on my YouTube channel, of Africans going back to Africa to invest and things like that. And I found that not all of them, because I can't disrespect my fellow African brothers and sisters like that, those that are investing heavily in the motherland, right? But there are some who are still hesitant, who still, double gets and still questioning why should they go invest back in Africa. But I always tell people, listen to your instincts, all right? So if your instincts convince you not to invest back at home and continue to spend your money unnecessarily out here in the West, feel free to do so. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. But my goal in this channel is to convince as many Congolese and Africans as possible to take a trip back to Africa and invest their money there, because I believe that the amount of resources that are taken away from our countries, from our African countries, right, that are exported, that are exploited, I should say, in America or in the Western world, which, by the way, we end up paying premium price for in the final product. We should use our income to invest that money back at home so that we create economics that has never existed before. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the best we can do. Because if we can't rely on these governments, man, I always tell people these governments don't stand up for us, don't speak out for us, they speak for themselves. These people are in power for business purposes. Let me tell you something. Tell me, like, there might be few governments here and there around the world that actually speak out for their people, but not that many of them actually give a crap about people like that. That's what I'm saying. I always focus on these issues while reminding people of the goal of most governments around the world. Governments around the world, they don't work for people. They don't work for the people. Just understand that one thing, right? So what I found, among other Africans that don't feel comfortable investing in the motherland, is either most reasons are political, right? And some of them will come up with valid points that justify their inaction, but that's still not a valid reason in my opinion, because if someone wants to talk about infrastructures, for instance, right? No, the infrastructures is not still, up to the standards where people will feel comfortable investing in, like electricity, roads, and things of that nature. But I also told people that, listen, Why you are worrying about infrastructures, right? You are complaining about infrastructure so much, but understand that there's still people who have invested heavily in Africa under those same conditions. In one of my videos, I remember, by the way, I'm pulling in into my friend's driveway. In one of my videos that I published, I remember talking about, you know, expatriate like Chinese, you know, um, Chinese, Indians, and other nationals who are investing in multitude of African countries, right? They don't give a crap about local government. They don't give a crap what the government is or is not doing because they have the fund. They learn the market, they understand the market, and guess what they do? They go over there, they handle the business, and they win the game. It's only us Africans who are continuing to complain about these issues while other nationals are coming to Africa, taking up the opportunities and actually making us look like dummies. Sometimes they sit around and have conversations. It's like, how is it that Congolese are still like flying, like moving away from Congo? How is that possible? Africans are fleeing Africa to go look for opportunities elsewhere, where those same opportunities you can find them in Africa, right? And I have a friend who's white, and that person he lives in Africa now. Every now and then we have conversations. We talk a lot about numerous issues. And he told me the exact same thing the last time I spoke with him. You know what he told me? Is like, man, I still don't understand the logic behind Congolese or Africans moving to Europe or America to look for a better life when you all have it out here. You understand what I'm saying? But people, understand that we live in a critical world. You have to use your brain. You have to understand the dynamics, because at the end of the day, if you don't make those decisions, nobody else is going to step in and make those decisions for us. And it kind of breaks my heart to see other Africans dogging and talking crap about Africa to make it look like Africa is worse. Dude, the image of Africa is already bad enough around the world. How much more can African contribute to destroy the image, the destroyed African image already? What we should do, it is to actually show and prove to the world that Africa is the destination for investment. Africa is the only place where you do business and actually make it much faster than any other place in the world. The amount of lanes that we have in Africa, for someone like me or anyone else who are interested in investing in agriculture or farming or things of that sort, there is enormous amount of opportunities there, right? So let me grab this comments real quick. Hello, brother. How you doing? May I ask what you're talking about? If you don't speak English, then get the fuck out of my comment section then. I have no clue. I have no patience for people talking shit all the time. You see what I'm saying? I appreciate you thinking that I'm a good dude, but I have a different attitude now. Cause listen, man. If you come here with a positive energy, we'll get along. But if you come here talking all smack, man, I ain't got no time for that. All right. So I value my subscribers and people that are tuning in on my channel who actually find this live stream very productive. But let me tell you something. Don't come out here with disrespect. You see what I'm saying? All right, yeah, I appreciate you thinking that I'm a cool dude, but I ain't going to tolerate you coming here talking crazy. All right, so the title says it for itself. What I'm talking about, it is exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't understand what I'm saying, maybe you should go find another channel and listen to what they have to talk about. All right, I'm addressing this live stream to my African feller that are living here in the West who want to invest back in Africa, right? So these videos are strictly meant for them. So if that's not something that you would like to see, I'm sorry. You can just, dip and go find another channel or watch all of the ladies twerking and doing all the crazy shit that you guys are used to seeing out here in America. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not one of those guys. So you can dip. Uh, all right, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, and that helps out big time with the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. All right, so I actually just pulled in my friend's garage because I came here for his daughter's first birthday. So she's turning 1 today. He invited me. That's why I took a Saturday off. All right, so I'm used to working overtime Saturday, so I have Sunday off and take the time a little bit. But today I switch it up. This weekend I switch it up where I took today off and I'm working tomorrow instead. So anywho, let's get back to the subject. And you will hear a lot of Africans actually saying that they will rather retire in Africa than staying out here in America or in the West in general. And that's the good way of saying things, but I feel like they're not doing enough to actually value the same continent that we all come from. When you are planning on, or you are investing in Africa, you really have to invest in a way that when you move back over there, you're not going to need to come back here in America. Guys, look at multiple sectors, whether it is real estate, agriculture, or any other things, right? When you invest in those sectors, I guarantee you the amount of money you'll be able to pocket monthly, you wouldn't really need to be over here. And that's actually one of the reasons why, because I know I want to retire early in my lifetime. I'm 32 now. I have 8 more years of hard working before I can sit up here in front of this on YouTube and tell you guys, hey, it's time for me to get up out of here. I'm going back to Africa because I know what Africa is offering. I know why I'm doing business in Africa, the potentials that it have and what it can bring to your life if you stick to it. Because the problem with a lot of us is that most of us don't have confidence. Because we don't have confidence, we become afraid. When you're afraid, it makes it 10 times more difficult for you to do whatever it is that you've been planning on doing your entire life, whether it is any projects, anything, right? Especially if you have plans and you have projects, right? And you are thinking about doing some things, but fear is your number one enemy that you should stay away from. The more you fear to do things, the more it will be difficult for you to ever get anything done. But because you're unable to overcome those fears to actually, get out of this economic mess that most of us are living under, or this modern slavery, you will really need to step up your game. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why when Africans come here with higher expectations of the American society or in the Western society in general, they become disappointed in the dynamics and in the different things that they see happening in the society. Maybe they're not making enough money that they thought that they will be making, and maybe things are not going the well that they thought it will go. And now they're like, oh man, maybe I had it better in Africa. Now it's time for me to do what, right? To either go back to Africa to invest or, some other thing. So that's exactly what's been going on for the past, couple of decades. And I don't want to be a part of that same sort of diasporans who are afraid. That's why I made my decisions and I stand by my decisions, and I will continue to stand by it. I will continue to invest in Congo until it's time for me to move back. I will never, ever, ever step back or run away from it. I've had times where I became more discouraged, right? Because something happened. I've had times where I felt like, am I doing the right thing? I questioned a lot of things that I started, but because I already started it and I've already invested enough money into it, now I feel like there is no coming back from there. I have to stick to it and hoping that it'll work out. And I know it will, because when I first started and the things that I've been able to, actually I've gotten so far from since I started farming, it is so promising that it's almost damn near impossible for me not to stick to it, because I know it'll give me the answers that I am looking for in terms of investing in Congo. Let me grab these questions real quick out here. They think Americans have it easy, which we do in a sense, but not the way it's perceived over there. Well, I 100% agree with that comments right there. So a lot of people have this higher expectations of America. So when they come here, it disappoints them, right? They find themselves, working, living paycheck to paycheck, and bills piling up, and going in like way deep in depths where it becomes almost impossible for them to even get out of that sort of situation. And now they start to question, okay, is this the same America that I thought before coming here? So people are questioning those things. And that's why us as Africans, when we come here, we see, like, for instance, living in America, right? I know, like, now in 2024, if I want to buy a house, I want to buy a house that's in good shape, that it won't give me no hard time, no difficult times. I want to move into a house, that offer these amenities, that's in a nice neighborhood. I'm looking at least between $275,000 up to $320,000 for a regular, 3-bedroom house in a suburban area somewhere. That is not like a crazy beautiful areas or anything like that. It's just a normal, neighborhood, just like any other, right? But if you take the same amount of money and you invest in real estate with the money back in Africa, you know how much money you could be making monthly, right? But the problem also is here it is easier for you to buy a house because of the credit system. You will get the credits, but understand, with the higher interest rates, you'll be probably making payments within the next 15 or even 17 years. You'll be basically paying those interests, and those other years, that's probably when you'll actually start knocking down your balance, right? And that's why when you buy a house here, you get a mortgage for 30 years. Guys, keep in mind that not many people, right? It feels almost the same as when you buy a house. I mean, you buy a car for the first time, right? You buy a brand new car at a dealership, you drive it the first couple of days, but then you get tired of it, right? You start seeing what's wrong with the car, but guess what? You're already stuck making payments for the next 5 years. You don't have any other choice but sticking with the car till the car is paid off before it becomes your property, right? And it goes the same, but investing in a house, buying a home here, yes, it is a great investment, whether it's here in America or elsewhere. But a lot of the issues here in America buying a house is that you buy a house, but there are a lot of like taxes that come with it. You'll be paying property taxes. There are some other taxes that are other fees that are linked to where whether it is trash or things like that. Something breaks down, it is your responsibility. If you got to fix something, it's going to cost you in tens of thousands of dollars, versus if you were renting a place, right? You were renting a crib. If something breaks down, you call the property manager's office and tell them, hey, something broke down, I need it fixed. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to fix it for you because it's their house, and you as a tenant, they have to make sure that that is taken care of, because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, then it is what it is. I'll start YouTube live.
Okay.
All right, so that is the one of the reasons. But I get it, you will build your equity or whatnot, but in America, there are no guarantee, for instance, right? You have your mortgage, you're making payments on it. Because of the crappy healthcare system that we have here in America, God forbid something happens to you where you get into a car accident, really bad car accident, and you're unable to go to work, right? Keep in mind, you still have to pay your mortgage. You still have to keep up with payments. If you fall out of the wagon, I'm sorry, they're going to take the house away from you. They'll probably do the math and see how much equity you have built. They will not give you that check until you figure out with your insurance company from that accident, if you survive it, right? And they settle you, then you can come up with a different plan. But in the meantime, you're losing your house. I now know 3 people so far, Three people that I personally know here in the United States who've been in the same situation. Three people that I remember so far. They got their houses taken away from them. But you don't have to worry about those things. You don't have to stress about things like that when you're investing in real estate in Africa. You know what I'm saying? And people still think it's a joke. Like, dude, go down there and see for yourself, come back and make, and judge things, and then decide whether it is you want to do that or not. Oh my God, here we go again with this United States or Western drama. I'm a man, okay? You're looking at a man. Do I look like a female to any of y'all? I am a man. My pronouns are he, right? And him. Come on, man. I'm a man. These sort of questions is stupid to ask somebody in Africa. That's why this society, it is so fucked up, yo. This society, it is so messed the fuck up. I wouldn't have to worry about questions like this if I was in Africa. You see what I'm saying? And like, with all honesty though, I mean, even Americans are realizing that, yo, we don't really own properties here in this country or lands. Because when you buy a property in America, yeah, you enjoy it. Oh man, I got my own personal time. I ain't got to worry about, what is central system? Exactly. So, and people, they realizing that, okay, maybe it's better somewhere else, because American governments have worked so hard to convince Americans that it is only safe here in the United States. The moment you go outside of the U.S. borders, you're unsafe. And they believe the military, the United States military, is constantly in wars because that's how they stay free. And now people are waking up to the reality and they realize that it's been bullshit the whole time. And now people are like, crap, I just took a trip to the Philippines and it seems to be more chill over there. Now guess what? I'm planning a trip to move to the Philippines. And a lot of Americans are doing so. And we see a trend of it. But the reason why most of y'all don't know about it is because the mainstream media don't want to talk about it. They don't want to cover things like that because the world will be questioning, wait a minute. I'm planning to come to America or to the West because I think it's a promised land. And now you're telling me the same people living in the promised land, born and raised there, they want to go to other promised lands? What is going on out here? Because they can't answer those questions. That's why they hide the reality to y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly the same thing that they've smeared Africa the entire time. When you mention Africa to Americans, the first thing that comes to their minds is jungle, poverty, and all of that stuff. You can try this yourself. Go to your smartphones, right? Just type life in Africa. First thing that will come up in Google Images is animals, lions, and all of that. That's actually a beautiful part of Africa too. That's why we get a lot of tourists going to Africa to visit, but people don't realize that Africa it's not a jungle. I ask people these questions so many times, right? And I get aggravated about it sometimes, but I do understand the level of ignorance and the level of just disrespect. People will ask you dumbass questions like, hey man, if you seen a lion before, in a way like in a real life, I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't never seen no lion in my whole entire life. I visited my zoo back in my country. The only big cat that was in that zoo was a leopard. They didn't even have a lion in that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? My very first time seeing a wild animal on the loose, it was when I moved to the United States. One morning, I'm driving to work. I almost hit a deer. I'm like, holy crap. Yo, I live in Pennsylvania somewhere, right? And Pocono Mountains is like an hour away from where I live at. In Pocono Mountains, people that live in that area, they actually allowed to fire warning gunshots. Guess, you may ask me why. Because there are bears running around that area all the time. You will hear nobody talking about that. When my very first police department I worked for, there's a guy that lives in that area in the Pocono Mountains, right? It tells me every morning he wakes up, like He like he always has a firearm. Like he goes and start the car or whatever. So it just makes sure there is no bear lurking around somewhere. I'm like, oh, whoa, this is in the United States of America, but they don't make a big deal out of it. But it becomes an issue when it comes down to Africa. But they go to Africa, capture the same animals, and bring it back here in America to house them in their zoos so they can make money off of it. Look at that. Guys, all of us need to wake up. Let me grab these comments real quick. I want to invest in agriculture in Africa. Can foreigners buy rural farmland in Congo? I want to renounce my U.S. citizenship. I hate America. I was born here, but this is not my home. Well, let me tell you something. Yeah, they're available lots of lands, especially in Congo. My farm that I own is located in an area in Congo where it's in a rural area. It's nothing by farmers there. I myself own 15 acres worth of land. I have friends who, my father, by the way, my father owned it's 138 acres altogether. Peace to his soul. My father passed away since 2014, so this June it will be 10 years since he passed. So we have our own family land, but I bought my own because of the family drama. I didn't want to get into it. So it's right there. It's all there. If you're planning on investing in agriculture in Congo, the opportunities are there. And yes, as foreigner, you're allowed to buy properties. I'm a U.S. citizen now. When I started buying my lands, I already became American citizen, and I was still able to buy it. So in Congo, they have one citizenship. There is no dual citizenship in Congo. The moment I took an oath with the American government to become American, I automatically renounced my Congolese citizenship. So you get it, you get the idea, you know where I'm coming from with this. So to answer your question, yes, you can buy land, and land is just available there. But as far as renouncing your citizenship, that is a personal choice that I can't change your mind if your mind is already made up. But there are advantages of holding a U.S. passport. When traveling abroad, traveling to other places, it really comes in very handy. And I've traveled with my Congolese passports before, and since I've been traveling with the U.S. passport, there is a huge difference. You can speak to other Africans or other nationals, they will tell you the advantage of holding a U.S. passport. But thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's the perception they want people to see, and people are shipples and fall for all of this falls into for informational age, no excuse, research and read. Thank you very much. Listen, there are people who know and they don't fall for this kind of stuff, right? But unfortunately, you have people in this day and age. And when I talk about ignorance, I'm not just talking about people that are not educated. I've had people who are educated, who have college degrees, right, question me, asking me these some dumbass questions where, oh, have you like seen like how's wildlife is out there, like giraffes and all these other animals? I'm like, are you serious? And when I Google, right, I go to Google and I type my hometown. I type in Kinshasa on Google, and I show them. They see the skyscrapers and all of this, beautiful buildings, and they're like, wow, this looks like a city. I'm like, motherfucker, it's a city. It does not look like a city. It's a city. What do you mean? And they go like, oh, so that right there is an issue. That is why a lot of people, they're continuing to stay here in America, still believing that you can't live a better life outside of the United States. A lot of white American farmers own lands in numerous African countries, starting from Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria. They don't want to be on social media because they know how the amount of opportunities that agriculture represents over there. They just want to stay there and never want to think about coming back here in America. You understand what I'm saying? So like, people, there are opportunities everywhere. I'm from Africa. I'm talking to my African people, and everybody that is interested in investing in anything, anywhere. But I speak for Africans for the most part. But everybody's welcome on my channel. That's why I keep telling people, listen, invest, 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 because things aren't getting better in this country. Let me see here. But anyways, so we are seeing what the U.S. government is doing around the world, right? They are depriving American people of their life, liberty, to finance wars in other governments, to pay other government officials money that is coming from U.S. taxpayers. How the hell do you think it make us feel? Like Ukraine, they're invaded by Russia, but under no circumstances that America have to go in there and start spending taxpayers' money when we have homelessness issue going on out here. There's homelessness crisis happening here. I work in Philadelphia area. If I have to pick up my phone and start filming all of this filthiness that are happening in Philadelphia, and homelessness crisis, and everything, all issues that we got going on here in America, people will be shocked. But American governments, that's not their priority. They could care less, right? But they are up front to go outside of the borders and help other people. But they can't even close their own borders. There is a migrant crisis happening in southern borders. They don't give a crap about that, but they only care about what's happening elsewhere. You know why? Because they're not doing it for the American people. They're doing it for these big corporations, for military industrial complex, and all these other lunatics that own big businesses. And that's why they drop sanctions on other countries and things like that. They will rather see oil prices continuing to increase. These big oil companies, they're making the most money. That allow them to buy these politicians, and the people that are paying the price is ordinary people like me and you. So how much more do you really want to live in this country where you're not even welcome where you were born? You see what I'm saying? There's such a better deal farming over there in your viewpoint. Well, all right, to answer your question, right? First of all, by acquiring like land acquisition there is so cheap. Not like that cheap, but it's so cheap compared to what you will get if you're thinking about buying agricultural land here in America. That's number one. And number two, there aren't that much competition in investing, whether it is in farming or anything like that in Africa. Meaning that if you go in there with the knowledge and the fund, you will make so much money and you will stand out among others very quickly. Very quickly. A lot of farmers that I know where I own my land, they're living comfortably, but they don't have like a big farm. It's just like a normal farm where, a couple of animals here and there, but they're living their best life. Now think about if you bring your investment there, it's going to cost you less money to purchase a land. It's not going to be, you'll probably pay your one-time tax fees when you purchase your land, when they do transfer of documents, so it goes under your name. It's not like that many like property taxes that you have to pay on there. And once the land is being transferred to you officially, you don't have to worry about paying no property lands on the land that you already own. That right there, it's already a huge advantage which you will never get here in America. So now think about it this way. If you want to purchase land here and you have to worry about those property taxes and things like that, let's just say your business is not doing well. On the top of the losses, you still got to make payments on those things. And guess how? You have an idea how it's going to hurt you financially? Big time, right? But you ain't got to worry about that. You could fail multiple times in Africa till you figure it out, and you'll still be okay. Because the government or the system, the way it's set up, it's not there to strangle people. It's there to actually let people, go forward without feeling that the government is working against them. That's why. I hope I answer your questions, but it's a big deal for me. And I care a lot more about it because I see the potentials that it represents and the potentials that it has. And no matter what people say, that will never deter me from, continuing to do what I'm doing. I recently just I built my pig barn. I just bought my house within my farm. I hired 2 workers who are actively working now on my farm, and I have multiple of things that are coming now. Starting next week, I'll buy my first load of animals that's going to move into the farm, and then within the next week I'll buy the second load, and then we'll figure out how to go from there. And my next project is my poultry farming projects. I talk about that on my channel all the time. So if you're interested, or if you come across my channel for the first time, I will highly encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe. I'll take you along with me in my farming journey in Congo. If that's something that you'll be interested in, stick around this channel. I have a lot to share with you guys. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm just so chill. And every time I fly over there in Congo to just see how things are going, I don't even want to come back here. But because I have now reached the point where I'm financially independent outside of the US while staying in Congo, that's why I have to come here to continue to work. I'm working towards where I build so I have enough income that will, pay for almost everything, my accommodations there. That's why I'm also building my own house in Congo, right? So when I'm there, I don't have to rent out, because renting is also, another thing that has hit my pocket really hard every time I'm in Congo, right? So let me grab this comment real quick. What steps did you take as an American citizen in regards to purchasing farmland in Congo? I'm having a difficult time finding rural farms lands online. Well, I wouldn't really online, because they don't really have systems where they advertise their properties online like that. Well, first of all, as a Congolese, right? What I basically did, because my mom, she also has a lot of knowledge like within agricultural field, right? That's my mom actually helped me buy my farmland. So she knows a guy who now is one of my good friends who know people who own properties, right? So when I was ready, I reached out to my mom reached out to him. So they told me how much acres that I was looking to buy. I told them how much acres that I was willing to buy, and they had unlimited amount of lands available. And then my mom showed me around, so I was able to pick one, and I bought it. And that's what I was telling you about the affordability. Guess how much 15 acres cost me? Just take a guess. How much 15 acres cost me? Just take a wild guess. Let me know in the comment section. Just take a wild guess, and I'll tell you how much money it costs you. Hey, buddy. Hey, guys. How y'all doing? Give me a high five, my man. All right. This are my nephews and nieces pulled up. Bonjour, my buddy. RJ, my man. You know what I'm saying? Just give me 1 second. I'm, greeting everybody. I'm live here. Ça va bien, my man? All right, thanks. All right, sorry about that, dude. 1,000 US dollars. Well, 1,000 US dollars for the whole thing? No, it cost me $2,650 for the 15 acres all together. That's about how much money it cost me. And I spent an additional probably $500 for paperwork, right? Transferring and all these other things. Altogether, I spent about $3,200, for the 15 acres that I have. All together. So, I mean, I really didn't have to take that many, steps to answer your question, Adam. So pretty much you have to find the land to begin with, right? Once you find the land, you negotiate the price. If you have somebody you can trust, right? If you're not traveling there by yourself, which I always recommend that you need to travel there by yourself and actually, making the transaction. unless you really have somebody that you can trust 100% just with your money. You send them the money, they do everything. That when you go over there, they just present you with the land, right? So of course, then when they present you with the land, you purchase it, and then you go through. They will explain you what you need to do. You go through like local offices, you go to local authorities. They will just make sure that the land is valid, and that because they have a system where all registered land should have a number attributed to it with like through like the local offices. So you and the former owner, you will go to this office, they find the number, and then from that number you pay a fee, which is the transfer fee, basically transferring that ownership onto you, making you the official landowner. Once that happens, then you become a rightful owner. You don't need to take extra steps to start any activities within your land. You can start the activity as soon as you see your name printed on a piece of paper and then onto the local office, right? And there are some other steps that you still need to take, right? But with that one, it's actually enough to start any sort of farming activities. And then you pay some other fee to kind of like, get the commune fee and some other stuff, the way things work over there. It's a very simple, simple steps that you need to take, and you enjoy your land 100%. And keep in mind, soil in Africa, you can grow anything on there. Anything. Anything grows there in Congo. You don't even have to stress or do, to take extra step to, grow certain things on there. All right. From the rest of the major cities. Oh, Liam. No, it's not live stream on YouTube. That's why. Yeah, I'll be right there. All right. So that's all right, that's the last one. All right, yeah. So where I'm at, bonjour, maman.
Bonjour.
Ça va très bien. All right. So what I was saying. All right. So you were asking like how far the nearest major city? It's in Kinshasa, right? It is not far from Kinshasa. Like it's actually in Kinshasa, right? But it's like from like Center City, it's about an hour and 20 minutes, I'd say, from the Center City. But there are like other like suburban neighborhoods not too far from that. Like it's in a very nice area. It's a strategic point where I own my land. Like that right there. I plan to go to Congo in the next 1 or 2 years, and everything goes well, from up until then. Oh yeah, I really wish you the best. I really hope that your dream come true. In my channel, that's what I always talk about. Feel free to come back to check out my videos. Feel free to come back with any question on my YouTube tab. I got my email is on there. If you need you can reach out to me. We'll talk or whatever. I will help you in any way I can with information, with the right people to when you're ready to purchase a land. And I've done it with many people. So I have, paved, the road to a lot of people who own farmland now that are doing even greater things that I have been able to do since I started, right? But because, things are going slowly, so I have to go by what I make. Because I don't have nobody supporting me financially, so I'm doing everything single-handedly. While I have to pay bills here in America, at the same time, if I come up with a couple $100 in my paycheck, I send there. They do things. That's how I roll, So yeah, one more question. Primitive lifestyle, Mexico. Okay. Is it possible to live similar lifestyle in Congo? My man, that's a question you shouldn't even ask, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, you can. It's way better. Trust me, it's so much better in Congo, where you hook up your solar panels and collecting rainwater and all that good stuff. That, man, it's all there. You want to buy land that's like in a mountain somewhere or whatever you want, it's there. It just depends what you can afford. It's right there. If you want to live off grid, that's, by the way, That's also another thing that I'm considering doing moving forward. Eventually, I would buy a land far away from the rest of the world where I can live off grid and just it's just me and the nature. I don't have to be bothered by anybody. Actually, where my farm, I own my farm, I kind of get that already. Everybody's far away from each other, but there's now a lot of farmers moving in, a lot of people buying lands, and now places like, people are moving in there. It's going to be a lot of people, in the next couple of, years or so. But when I drive through there, because there's like this small village, right, near where I own my farm. So every time we're going there, we see people, there were animals, grazing grass, alongside the roads or whatever. So, yeah. Rich email. Look forward for more of the videos. Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you tuning in. That really, really means a lot. Go to my YouTube tab. My email is on there. Reach out to me. We will talk privately, and I will provide you with as much information, in the best of my knowledge, to help you or reach your objective. And it will make me feel better if you also are satisfied with whatever it is that you're planning on doing. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I would love to continue this live stream, but I can't move here because it's my friend's daughter's birthday party that I was invited to. So as you saw me, Kev, I was greeting people as they come through. I'm about to go in there, have a good time with friends and family. I really hope to see you again next time I go live or when I drop another video. Thank you for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share this live stream with a friend. Until the next one, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out and happy Saturday.